the Master Your Mind 5-day challenge. I want you guys to tell me what your first thought was this morning. What was your very, very first thought this morning when you, oh, fantastic, Kelly, born ready. I know you are, and congratulations. Kelly is joining us on our mentorship, the Master Your Mind mentorship. It's a 7-week mentorship program. Spoiler alert, I always give you an extra week. So it's an 8-week long mentorship program. We introduced the opportunity to you yesterday. This mentorship program is $2,997, and we are sponsoring $2,000 of that for just a set number of people. There's a couple of sponsorships, a couple of scholarships left. So I've put the link to join the mentorship in this video description if you want to see if any of those scholarships are left. So born ready, fantastic. I know Heather has done our challenge before. I'm so glad that you guys are here and that you're ready. I want you to guess what the first thing was that I thought this morning. Now, if you've been here with me all 5 days, if this is your first day, please stay with us. I promise you can grow, you can learn. Register for the challenge. You might get a ton of, hey, we're live now emails, because everything will cycle through, but you're going to get your success journal. And your success journal has a lot of good stuff. You guys tell me, have you enjoyed the success journal? Like, did it help you to work through some of these thoughts and come up? Give me a yes in the chat if you guys have enjoyed that, if it was like a nice companion piece to help accentuate your learning. It's really great. Journaling is really a beautiful process. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't like to write. You don't have to write, long, meaningful prose or anything. You can just dive into little bitty thoughts, and it really makes a difference. Oh yeah, I've got yes, thank yous. I'm so excited too. So guess what the first thought was that I had this morning when I woke up? Today is a great day to do what? Everybody type it in. Today is a great day to have a really great day. Really was my very first thought. And then I thought, I'm so happy and grateful for this day. I'm so happy and grateful for the breath that's in my lungs. I was happy and grateful for my husband who was still sleeping next to me. And then I thought, oh man, I'm happy and grateful for all these beautiful souls who have come on this journey with me. And it's so fun. I know you're learning and you're enjoying that, but just know that I get so energized when you learn, and to see your comments and to see the folks who have been going on with their live videos in the group afterwards, just to hear you and see your bravery to actually go live. I just want to let you know, I want to say thank you to you, because you help to make this week. I mean, it's a lot of work to do this and to give you this gift. And it's my pleasure, my honor to be able to do it. But if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be enjoyable for me. So thank you for giving me just a beautiful, enjoyable, fulfilling week. So I just want you, just for a minute, just give yourself a big hand. So yay for me. Congratulations to you. I am going to grab the link from the session, send it to our group leaders. If you don't know who your group leader is, please type that in the chat and we will still connect you with your group leader. It is not too late. I'm just going to send this to them so that they can send it to everybody else. Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Tracy. Today is a great day to have a great day. Fantastic. Joy, hello. Yes, Heather's right. She says writing helps to lock it in, and it really does help to lock it in. All right, so do you all remember what we're talking about today? Day 5, we're talking about flexibility. And are we really talking about this kind of flexibility? It's good to have that kind of flexibility. It feels good, but that's not the kind of flexibility that we're talking about. We're talking about this kind of flexibility of the mind. So I want you to enjoy a deep breath in through your nose, into your belly. Okay, now just think about the last time that you were trying to understand where someone was coming from. And this person was just very, very firm in their beliefs or their standpoints. And you thought, if they just slow down a second, if they just take a breath, they could back up and see these other possibilities. Is this landing for you? Give me a yes in the chat if this is landing for you. If I'm not speaking in such vague terms that it's actually landing. Have you seen those people? They're just so set in their beliefs, in their ways, in their thoughts, that they're stuck in a pattern and they can't get out. That is a rigid mind. And yeah, I'm seeing some yeses come. Oh, yes. Kelly's like, oh, yeah. Kelly knows what I'm talking about. You know, when these people end up crossing your path and you experience that energy, you experience that rigidity, how does it make you feel? Just type in the chat, just type some feelings. How does it make you feel when you're experiencing that? You know, I really want you to think about your feelings when it comes to all of this, because your feelings are the key to the energetic frequencies that your body is carrying. And if you want to have a manifesting mindset, then you have to be in tune with your energy. Right. So tell me some of the feelings. Got lots of yeses still coming over. I might have just a slight delay here. But think about the way that makes you feel when you meet someone who's just like talking to a brick wall. And there seems to be, even though you have good ideas and you have something to contribute, there seems to be a limit to what that person will allow. Yeah, withdrawn, frustrating. Empathetic. I love that from Heather, that she feels empathetic. I used to. Jane, who was not connected to her energy, Jane, who did not understand the psychological basis for positivity and how it really is the key to unlock happiness and fulfillment. Used to, I would be frustrated. I would fight back. You know, there would be two bullheaded people knocking heads. I've been that other person. I've been that person who's so set in my ways. Through a lot of dedication, learning, getting mentors who would guide me, coaches who would guide me, I now more closely align with Heather, who's one of our group leaders. She's also been through our Master Your Mind mentorship. She has come so far in her mindset. Heather, you're amazing. You know, and thank you for all that you're doing this week to guide and to lead. But she said empathetic, and really that is how I feel now. Now, how could my feelings change so drastically from frustrated and angry and just put out, or even, some people I would just give up on, just walk away, withdraw. Like I saw somebody say, withdraw. How can you shift? By developing flexibility of your mindset. So now, instead of just seeing that brick wall of a mindset, I see someone who's hurting. I see someone who isn't awakened to the truth of their potential. And that grows an empathy in me. And doesn't that feel better? What feels better to you? Anger or empathy? Which word, just when I say it? So just close your eyes for a second. I'm going to say them again. Deep breath in through your nose and out. Anger. Empathy. Which one feels better? To me, empathy feels a lot better. Yeah, to a more open-minded stance. Absolutely, Vanessa. That's exactly right. Yeah. And Kelly just wrote something that's very interesting. It makes me realize I don't want to be that way. And you don't want to be that way, but how do you change patterns? By creating new patterns. You don't change patterns by doing something once. For those of you who have stuck with this, you've been with me since day one, or you came in on day 2 or 3 and you're actually still here, you have committed to creating a pattern of positivity, a pattern that can help you for the rest of your life. But what happens if this 5 days was just 5 days and starting tomorrow, you just go back to whatever you were doing 6 days ago? It's only a 5-day pattern. You have to stick with it. You have to have that consistent practice, that consistent accountability. What did we talk about yesterday? We talked about it in our lesson. We also talked about it more in the Q&A that was after the lesson, which we're going to do again today if you'd like to join us. We talked about consistency. We talked about accountability. We talked about the difference between a support system and a system of accountability. Support system, my husband is an incredible support. And there's some things in business that he can hold me accountable on, but not everything. He's not a solopreneur. He's not running programs the way that I'm running them. There's certain things that he just doesn't get and doesn't understand and can't hold me accountable on. So is he my system of accountability? He's part of it, but not all of it. I have to have people who know what I need more than I do to help keep me accountable. And so that's why, Heather's here, and Alejandro and Sherere and Jaime and and Kendra, all of our leaders. That's why they're here, because they've been through all this. They understand the process. They know more than what you know right now, and they're guiding you through it. And Prim, beautiful Prim, sorry, I didn't mean to leave out beautiful Prim's name. They've come so far. And so that's why your leaders have been chosen, so that they can help guide you. And, that's why we offer our mentorship, so that we can help guide you. And, they're all part of that tribe, because they've been there. All right. So what does flexibility mean to you when it comes to flexibility of mind? Just give me some answers in the chat. Just what does flexibility mean to you? Yep. Understanding I'm open to just be there. I love that, Tracy. Fantastic. So what does flexibility mean to you? To me, flexibility means that I'm open to possibilities that are beyond my current realm of knowledge. Does that make sense? I'm open to things that exist beyond what I currently know, practice, or believe. I'm not saying that my beliefs are squishy and I'll change them. I'm saying that I'm open to considering the possibility that there are additional, other, or different twists or tweaks to my truth. It's a lot different than someone who just wants to be heard and won't take your opinion into consideration, right? Let's see what the chat's saying. Willingness to learn, yes. Open-mindedness, yes. Being open to see from the other side, that's beautiful. Yes. To be able to shift perspective, see other views, yes. The ability to manage any situation that arrives and be open to new possibilities. Jaime, gold star. Yes. So what we're going to do, golly, we're almost to the end of our challenge and the end of our success journal. So we're going to go to page 31. It's a page with a whole bunch of little bitty words on it. I don't have blanks on this one for you, but we're going to circle the word in each row that we believe indicates a more flexible attitude. Okay. So we've got columns and we've got rows. So you have 3 words in each row. And so circle whichever one you believe is most flexible. All right. So we're just going to do the first row together. Okay. The first row, the words are rigid, neutral, and unstructured. So just thinking about those 3 words. So we've already talked about rigidity, and spoiler alert, I told you earlier, that's the opposite of what we're working on, which is flexibility. So that was a pretty easy thing to rule out. Okay. So rigid's not it. So neutral or unstructured. You guys give me your answer. Which one do you believe shows a more flexible mindset? Now, really think about flexibility in terms of open-mindedness, like a lot of people have answered, absolutely correct. But think about it in terms of open-mindedness with the focus on growing and achieving more. Okay, so yes, Tracy's got, you guys all have it. Yes, neutral. Why would neutral be the more flexible word than unstructured? I mean, unstructured is super flexible, right? There's no structure. Flexible indicates that you have a structure, you have that belief system, you have the knowledge, you have the abilities, yet you are open, you're malleable. What's something that I have that's kind of bendy? I can't really pull anything up that's kind of, well, here, I have little, ask anybody who works with me, any of my mentees, they're like, she always has all these balls around. I have all these like therapy balls that just, they're really good on muscles. When you really want to increase your flexibility and you have some sore muscles from a good workout, these things are fantastic. But this has a defined structure. Okay, but it's flexible. It will move. When pressure comes on it, it'll move. But then look, it stays true to itself. Isn't that interesting? So when I've talked with people with more rigid mindsets about this very topic, they say, well, I mean, if you'll bend to what other people are saying, then you're not staying true to yourself. Is that true? Am I bending to what other people are saying? Or am I stepping back and taking, honestly, the highest seat of wisdom, which is, I know nothing. So pour it on me. Why, when I was first joining the I Am Creator family, did I go through FLC if I already had a successful business going? I was willing to come to the table and know nothing, because there was a chance that the people who were teaching what I had already done, what I had already built for myself, may have, I don't know, one or two ideas that could help take it to the next level. And they did, because I had my structure, but I was flexible in that structure. Is this landing for you guys? Give me a yes in the chat if this is landing for you guys. I've got a no from Kelly. I'm not sure what the no was for. But yeah, adaptable, but remain your authentic self. Prem, yes, absolutely. Being adaptable, but remaining your authentic self. So what is a situation that you can think about in your life? And you can type it into the chat if you really, really want to get typey. What is a situation in your life that you can think about where you've had to be adaptable, but remain true to your authentic self? Not to go all political here, but I'm in the United States, and this past political season has been really, really difficult with a lot of people with very loudly expressed opinions. You know, I have opinions too. Do you guys know what any of them are? No, because I don't talk about them like that, because I hold them. I know my truth. And if I am living my truth, then I don't have to go and speak about it, because you see me living it every single day. So the people who are super loud, kind of like a couple of days ago when I talked to you about someone who I worked for briefly, who was a terrible manager, and she would tell everybody that she was a level 5 leader, which is supposedly like the best kind of leader. So I read the book about the 5 levels of leadership and figured out what a level 5 leader was. And I was like, she is the farthest thing. First of all, a level 5 leader would never tell you that they're a level 5 leader, because they don't have to, because the proof is in the pudding. You can tell from how they are and who they are on a day-to-day basis if they're a level 5 leader or if they are not. So she most certainly wasn't. So how do I remain true to myself, but flexible and open? How do I go to a situation like that with people literally warring against each other and be able to take a breath and stay true to my conscience, stay true to who I am, to do what I believe that I should in this country anyway, and have a voice through voting? You know, how do I do that when the waters are so muddied? I know who I am. And when things happen, I consider them and I come back to who I am. And sometimes those things that happen can change my mindset. They can tweak my perspective. I used to be very resolute in a specific political issue. And, you know, I haven't completely changed positions, but I have greatly softened. That's flexibility. You don't have to completely change, but it's a softening. I really like to use the word gentle when discussing flexibility. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? You know, I hear a lot of parents, we have dogs and we'll take them out. We take them everywhere. And little kids always want to walk because they're fluffy. We have one that's little. I mean, our dogs are super cute. I know that I'm biased, but they just are. They're really cute dogs. One's a huge white 70-pound big ball of fluff who just like wants you to scratch her. And the other one is little. She's about 14 pounds, 12 to 14 pounds. And she's also just like a little ball of brown fluff. And they're just sweet and kind. And little kids just want to touch them because they're fluffy. They're a living teddy bear, basically. And the parents are always like, no, don't pull, don't hit. Because, you know, when little kids try to pet an animal, they're kind of like slapping them. Like, and our dogs are just like, okay, a little softer, please. But wouldn't it be so much better to just say to the children gently, it's not prohibitive, it's flexible. You're still saying, don't pull, don't punch, don't hit, but you're doing it in such a positive way. And that's flexibility. Another example of flexibility from my life, because I do practice neurolinguistic programming. Neurolinguistic programming is the art of sounds and language matched with the vibration that they carry to help shape your mind differently. Does anybody here work out? Give me a yes in the chat if you work out, if you do physical fitness workouts, yoga, weight training, running, swimming, anything like that. Give me a yes. Yeah, sure. Some of you guys do. Okay. So you know that you can literally change the shape of your body with these activities. I know that if I go get my 12-pound hand weights and I lift them every single day, my biceps are going to get more defined. They might not get huge, but they're going to get more defined. I'm going to have more muscle definition in my arm. I know that if I do squats every day, my hips, thighs, and glutes are going to get more defined, right? I'm going to have less fat there and more muscle and more definition, right? Your brain can do the same thing. And these little mindset tweaks that we've worked on this week, these bigger mindset tweaks that we're going to work on together, if you are committed enough to take the invitation for the mentorship that I've given you, we're going to work on these tweaks and we're changing the shape of your brain so that if you hear me say, oh, my first thought today was, it's a really great day to have a really great day. How does she do that every morning? I didn't used to. But just like those 12-pound hand weights help my biceps become more defined, daily practice and accountability help my mindset to become more flexible, more solid, more regulated, more energetically aware. And for our group leaders, you guys have been through this. Am I right? Like give some testimony to everybody else who's here, because this is right on. Flexibility in your mindset is key to a solid foundation. A solid foundation for your mindset is key to manifestation. Just period. That's just it. You have to have flexibility. So I'm not sure if you guys finished your page yet? If you finished your page, just type in some of the words that you circled. So we've got interested, disinterested, inquisitive. We've got free, focused, committed, innocent, responsibility, accountability. Just type in a few of the words. You don't have to type in all of them, but I just want to see some flexible words come over, because it really is about little mindset tweaks. It's also about the commitment to yourself. So I want to see some of these words come over. Yeah, I've got a lot of people. Thank you guys for being, and I see Prim going, oh yes, I asked our leaders to say, has this worked for you? Let's see. Yes. So tell me some of your words, just a few of them. I love the second line, interested, disinterested, inquisitive. Interested is a good word, and it's a flexible word, but I'm asking you to pick the most flexible word. Disinterested is not flexible. Disinterested is a closed door. Interested is an open door, but it's also committed. So inquisitive, to me, is the most flexible word on that row. Inquisitive. Why is that the most flexible word? Because it opens up that wise seat of I know nothing. How is that the seat of wisdom? Knowing that you know nothing while embracing what you do know, which is something, leaves you open to collecting the wisdom that's not yet here. And just so you know, you have an abundant, unlimited, never-ending, eternal, straight line to all of the wisdom in the universe. What is the block? The block is an inflexible mind and a lack of consistency and accountability to overcome your inability to connect conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Where do you start? That's huge, guys. What I just said, huge. So people say, okay, I want to do that. I see people in the Creator Circle group and the Gilded Life group, comments on my YouTube channel, all over the place. Just, how do I manifest my ex back? How do I manifest $1 million? How do I manifest winning the lottery? I'm never going to teach you that because I haven't won the lottery. I haven't tried that. I haven't won. How do I manifest this? How do I manifest that? The folks who are asking those questions are so inflexible because when you give them the answer, they reject it. If you want to know the key to manifestation, and you can talk to anybody who's been through the Master Your Mind mentorship, it starts right here. It's not about all that. It's not about what you have, what you don't have, what he has, what he doesn't have, who he or she is, it's right here. Everything that you need is within your grasp. And you have to calm, recognize, and then build the flexibility so that you are ready to accept it. Does anybody remember what I said that fate was a couple days ago? Fate isn't a magical potion that just puts what you want in front of you or what you don't want in front of you or what you karmically deserve in front of you. Fate simply presents you with opportunities. Why are you here? You were presented with an opportunity. Was it fate that you are here? No, that was free will. Fate gave you the chance. Free will makes it a reality, and it works together, duality. Yeah? Does that make sense? And in order to accept that, you have to have a more flexible mindset. The flexible mind is the mind that's ready to grow and learn. And it doesn't mean that you're a pushover. It doesn't mean that you're not who you are. It doesn't mean that you don't have your structure, that you don't have your beliefs. It means that you're open. Do you know who has a mentor? Master Sri Krishna. Why would anyone who's a master need to have a mentor? Because there are still things that he cannot see. Why does a certified psychotherapist, a celebrated speaker, author, coach, mentor, have a mentor and a coach? Because there are still things that I cannot see. But without a flexible mindset, I'm not open to that possibility. I've seen people say, oh, I just don't know if coaching is for me. And coaching is for everybody. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody. You know what? If Michael Jordan had a coach to help him stay at his best, don't you need a coach to stay at your best in whatever you're doing? I mean, Michael Jordan, arguably one of the best basketball players of all times. Coaches exist to make sure that you're playing your best game that day, for that game and in the long game. If a football team wants to get to the Super Bowl, an American football team wants to get to the Super Bowl, or if a European football team, soccer team wants to get to the World Cup, they play with the World Cup in mind or with the Super Bowl in mind, but they play the game that's on the field that day. And they have a coach to guide them through it. Now, the coach's ultimate goal is to get to that championship. How do you get to the championship? Through the flexibility of being open to follow the guidance of the trusted coach and mentor who is there for you and to play the game that you have that day. A few days ago, I'd asked for some examples in the chat, and one of you answered that there was someone in a workplace who was worried, who wasn't full-time, but really wanted to go full-time, was really, really worried about not getting the chance to go full-time. I don't remember who said this, but the person who wrote this said that she, or he, I think it was a she, encouraged him to just focus on the day. What great coaching there. You focus on being your best self today, you're going to earn that full-time job. And he did. He did earn that full-time job. But you have to have someone who is not afraid to give you that hard truth. And that's your coach and mentor. And that was gutsy, honestly, to tell a new employee, you know what, if you'll just chill out and focus on being your best self today, you already got here. Sky's the limit. That's a flexible mindset. Okay. All right, so how flexible are you? Page 32. Now, have you all downloaded the Guild Coaching Environments Organizer? I gave it to you on the first day. I'm trying to find the link to it now if you guys have not downloaded it yet. But if you don't understand all these different environments, then this download will explain them to you. 1 second, I'm just going to grab this link and stick it in the chat for you. It's a link that'll go straight to my website, and then you can just put in your email. There we go. So that is Guild and there we go. All right. So, and if that link isn't working for you, you can always go onto the website and scroll down and you can just click it because it's also offered as a free download there. So on guildcoaching.com, that's GILD coaching.com. Okay, so you have 9 environments. How many environments do you have? Tell me in the chat. You have 9 environments. I want to see a bunch of 9s come over in the chat. Make sure that you're staying really engaged here. Okay. So your self environment is who you are. It's the Jane who really enjoys having water when she first wakes up, goes straight for the mouthwash because she doesn't like having any of that morning stuff. It's all my little preferences. It's chocolate or vanilla. I'm a vanilla girl. It's, salad or pizza. I'm a salad girl. So it's all of your preferences. It's who you are when you're in a room by yourself, when you're on a mountaintop, or when you're in a room with 100 other people. Relationship, that is intimate relationships with other people. So not necessarily sexually intimate, but I mean like dear close friends. And it could be spouse, it could be significant other, best friend. It's people who you actually have an ongoing relationship with. So I believe that most of us here are in each other's network environment. We may not know each other really, really well. There's a few of you who I know really well who I would consider it to be a relationship that I would reach out to check on you. If you're having a hard time, you'd reach out to me to check on me, give each other support network type things. Coach Kendra McLaughlin, who's one of our group leaders, I consider her family. She and I are so very dearly close and I absolutely adore her. So that would be a relationship. Network are the people who you're connected with, who know you, who may be part of your greater accountability or support system, but you don't have those close personal ties with them. Technological, it's everything technology, from your virtual spaces to your actual hardware. You've got spiritual, it's anything having to do with spirituality. It's your practices, it's your rituals, it's places that you find to be sacred, it's items that you find to be sacred. I know that I grew up with a devoutly Catholic mother and father, and my mother always wore what she called a scapular around her neck. It was a type of necklace that was blessed and made of a certain material. And, she was always having us kiss metals that were blessed, and those things, that was part of our spiritual environment growing up. Statues, idols, things of that nature, temples, things of that nature. Financial, anything having to do with money, your total net worth, debt, financial dreams, financial goals, financial history, financial future, everything having to do with finances. Banking, how do you bank? Where do you bank? What are your beliefs on that? So not just how much money you have in your pocket, but everything. If you think about your net worth, we as a whole, if you are in a position where you have the technology, the energy, and the connectivity to be here with me right now, we're in the top wealthiest people in the world. Did you know that? If you have a steady roof over your head, you know where you're going to sleep tonight, and you have all your basic needs met, I think it's that you're in the top 10 to 15% of wealth in the world, because there's so much poverty. So there's a lot that we don't recognize that's abundant in our life because we take it for granted. But I think during the pandemic, I think that we were really awakened to realizing how much freedom we took for granted, how much accessibility we took for granted. I remember a big wake up moment for me was when I went through our grocery store, and things that were just always there that I didn't even give a thought to, all of a sudden were scarce. Limitations on certain things. And it made me realize, how blessed and abundant my life had been. And I already knew that, but it changed. I was flexible to allow it to change and deepen that appreciation. It's pretty good example. But all of that has to do with your financial reality, all the abundance, your net worth. Body, that is the stuff, this thing, all of this, anything that you can feel. It's your body, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your face, everything. Physical, people think that this is physical. It's not. Physical environment is what's around you. So my physical environment right now is my office. I've got a bank of windows. I have a painting that I did back there. I've got my little awards back there, all of that stuff. Physical environment is the stuff that's around you. It can be inside your home, your office, the interior of your vehicle. Your vehicle also has to do with your financial environment because that adds to your net worth, or your debt, depending upon how you are on that. Outside spaces, anywhere that you frequent is included in your physical environment. And the last environment here is the most vital and most misunderstood, least understood. Most vital, least understood, the mind environment. The mind environment is not all of the knowledge, beliefs, and everything that you have. That's part of your self environment. The mind environment is everything that influences you all the time. So all of those little things that happen are in your mind environment. I'm sure that you've heard people debate over whether violent video games are okay for children who have developing brains. Does it make them have higher anxiety, higher stress? Does it give them a tendency toward violence? Or is it just entertainment and it's no big deal and everybody needs to stop being so uptight about it? Horror movies. Has anybody ever watched something really scary and then later had a nightmare about it, or kind of when the movie was over or the TV show or whatever was over, you kind of got jolted or, got chills down your spine because something reminded you of something in it? Ooh. I don't like the chills down the spine. But all of that is your mind environment. Your mind environment is everything that you allow or happen to take in. So right now, your mind environment is just drinking this in. You're active, you're here, you're typing into the chat. You are really drinking in knowledge. You are allowing this to come into your mind. Everything that comes into your mind changes your mind a little because it's a new reality. Do you, give me a yes in the chat if this is true, do you know more today about mindset that you knew 5 days ago? Give me a yes in the chat if you do. Seeing some yeses. Thank you. Yeah, of course you do. Has that changed your outlook on everything? Yeah, a bit. A bit. Why? Because everything around you impacts you. Everything that you can see, you're taking in billions of pieces of information right now, and you're like, billions? I'm just listening to Dr. Jane. You're taking in billions of pieces of information right now. My mind is acutely aware that right behind my camera is a painting that my daughter did. Above that is another painting that my sister-in-law gave me. Above that is a clock that I can't really see unless I tilt my eyes up, but there it is. And above that, it's a whole bank of things. Above that is another painting that my daughter did. It's hearts, it's warm colors and things that make me feel really good. I have them at my workspace because they help me constantly. Even when I'm not focused on them, my subconscious mind knows that they're there and it's taking in the messages that they represent. Things in your physical environment cross over to your mind environment. On this other side, I'm looking right at you, but my peripheral can see a whole bookcase full of books. And I might not be able to read the binding right now and tell you what every single book is, but I can, in my peripheral, see a picture of my grandparents smiling at me. I know that I'm loved. I also, in my peripheral, see a picture of my daughter when she was graduated from kindergarten. She's 13 now. That was a while ago, but she's there looking down on me too. Those are all part of the mind environment. It's things that you allow to exist in your physical environment that come in and change your impression. And whether it's changing or not, it is changing constantly because it's coming in more. It's a pattern. My grandparents' picture has been on that shelf for years. I've been sitting here for years. So I've been seeing it for years. And it's great. That's a pattern of love, connection. My grandparents have transitioned. They're no longer with us in this life, but they are here with me all the time, not just because of the picture, but that picture is a constant reminder. And that helps that love that exists to grow. Why? How? When I'm not focusing on it, because my mind environment. So on page 32 of your workbook, those environments, I've asked how you can increase your flexibility in those 9 environments. So I just want you, after class, take some time and really think about it. Download the explanation. It will take you through your environments in an even deeper way. And we even have another program where I deep dive on a weekly basis with you and go through each environment with you. It's a one-to-one coaching program that I have. And it gets intense. And I'll tell you, when we dive into your physical environment, people are very territorial about their stuff. And the one that people like the least to dive into, actually the 2 that they like the least to dive into are financial and network. People are very territorial about this sort of thing. Money seems to be some sort of a taboo thing, but it's really not. Money is an energy. Write that down for yourself or type it in. Money is just another way that energy manifests. Money's just another way that energy manifests. And you can manifest all that you want. I've been doing it my whole life. Before I even heard the word manifestation, before I even realized what I was doing, I just had an inner belief that it was just going to be okay. And it always was. Even when there wasn't, huge abundance and I, couldn't just go out and buy whatever I wanted without doing it on a debt spectrum, it would just show up anytime I needed anything. I remember one time when I was in my early 20s, a bill showed up and I was living by myself, not near any family, in a fairly pricey city, high cost of living in California. And I was in San Diego, and it was beautiful, and I loved it. But it was difficult because my income was not super abundant at that time, and I was on a much different path. And I got a bill that was overdue. Like I had moved, and it kind of followed me around. And finally, these people found me, and they were like, "This bill," and it wasn't very much. It was a few $100s. But at that point, with the budget that I had, a few $100s was I couldn't just be like, "Oh, no problem, here." And I got the bill and I looked at it and I thought, okay, well, this is here and it's valid. And I don't know how I missed this when I moved away from the other place, but okay, I'll have to figure this out. I saw the due date and I thought, isn't that interesting? All right, let's see how this is going to happen. And 2 days later, something else found me. It was some old investment that I had from another job that I had, where they actually, part of the employee compensation was to buy stock in the company. But when you were no longer an employee there, you couldn't own that employee owned only stock. So they actually had to cut me a check for it. And it was almost exactly the amount of the bill that I had gotten a couple days later. I didn't know about the bill that was coming, and I had no idea that I still owned that stock. I figured that they paid me out when I left the company. Things just always work out for me. And that brings me to one of my favorite affirmations for a flexible mind. And you can say this to yourself over and over and over and over and over again until you finally believe it. But it is everything is always working out for me. Everything's always working out for me. Isn't it amazing how everything is always working out for me? It is amazing. Everything has always ended up working out for me. Maybe not in the way that I thought that it was going to work out for me, but it ended up working out for me. And, I'm here, and everything might not be exactly how I had designed it to be or how I want it to be, but that's okay, because wants and desires, I'm supposed to have those, because more things are supposed to have the opportunity to work out for me. And I know deep in my soul that everything's always working out for me, because it is, because everything just always works out for me in some way. And I'm glad that sometime when things work out for me, they don't necessarily work out for me the way that I would have had them work out for me, because sometimes the way that they work out for me is better than what I would have imagined. And if I want everything to be the way that I want it to be, then I'm leaving a lot of possibility on the table. So I am so happy and grateful that everything's always working out for me. And I'm so happy and grateful that I have the opportunity to create a more flexible mind so that I can really, truly believe this and say this and live it, because everything's always working out for me. Say it, own it, believe it. It will help you develop your fantastically flexible mind. So definitely don't finish this challenge week without finishing page 32 for yourself. All right. I'm going to go to the chat for just a second and see if I've got any questions. Oh, I love all this. Everything is always working out for me. All of you, fantastic. You know, when you think things and then you allow those thoughts to become words, then you've thought it twice. When you think things and you allow those thoughts to become words and then you write them, you've thought them 3 times. And then after you've written them and you see them, you've thought them 4 times because you're taking it back in. That is why it's so important to listen to, repeat, write down, and reread your affirmations. That alone will help you to increase the quality of your mindset. That alone will help you to increase your emotional intelligence. It will help you to have a more flexible mind. It is amazing to see it in action, Kelly. And the thing about it is, I just have to be real honest with you right now. I used to hear years ago people saying things like this. I remember almost 20 years ago, I bought a set of CDs for my car. I don't even know if my current vehicle has a slot for CDs because everything's streaming now. But 20 years ago, that was how we listened to music. So I bought a set of CDs for my car. And I was in my early 20s. I'm in my early 40s now. But I bought a set of CDs for my car that were just positive affirmations. And it was the beginning of me resetting my money mindset, actually, because I started with that, the abundance one. I was just drawn to that one for some reason. I wonder why. And I remember when I first started listening to them that I was like, damn it, this better work. I really hope that this works. There was that doubt. If you hope that something will work, then you doubt that it is sure. So I had all that doubt in my mind. Does that sound familiar to any of you? You know, you really hope that this works. Push. No, I'm doing this because I know that it works. And I was still going through my studies. I hadn't even finished my master's degree yet. I hadn't even thought about my PhD or, you know, going into practice as a psychotherapist. I was working as a journalist at that time and was, you know, still just plugging through school and enjoying it. I really enjoy learning and I enjoy teaching. But I was listening to these affirmations on my commute, which was about 20 to 30 minutes to and from my office every day. And I just remember thinking, this isn't true for me. This might be true for this guy, but there has to be something different. It was a man's voice. There has to be something different that he's doing. You know, maybe he was just born to a wealthy family. He doesn't know how hard it is to come from where I've come from. He probably didn't have a mother who he walked in on with her head down at the kitchen table, crying because she'd balanced her checkbook incorrectly and there wasn't money for more groceries. He probably didn't know what it felt like to have nothing. He probably never had to have that feeling of living paycheck to paycheck. He probably never had. So it's probably really easy for him to say these things because they're true for him, because he just has to have been lucky, fortunate, silver spoon type of a thing. For some reason, and I'm so happy and grateful for whatever the energy was that drove me to continue to push play on that disc, because those thoughts every single day, with the consistency that I gave to them, the consistency that I invested in them, because I invest in my own development because I'm worth it. Because of that, the next day, I didn't feel those feelings. I didn't think those thoughts that brought up the feelings with such fervor. It was a little bit less, not much less, a little bit. The next week, a little bit less. The next week, a little bit less. The next week, I didn't even have to wait for the pause in the affirmation disc. I could just say everything with him over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I did that one for a month, and it felt so good. And that was kind of like the guidebook that came with the CD set, said, do each one for a month. But I was like, this really feels good. And I really like to feel good because feeling good feels good. And don't you like to feel good? So I love to feel good. So I kept doing that one. 3 months, same thing. And then I found myself pulling the CD out of the car and putting it in the CD player in my apartment. And then on weekends, when I wasn't going into work or on my days off, whatever, I was still listening to it because something about it was soothing. Something about the hope in those words was soothing. So I didn't really have a flexible mindset to start, but with consistency, you can do it. I told you a couple of days ago that I ran a marathon, my first marathon in 2010, the year that my mother passed. And I started really, I was jogging a little bit for exercise, but I wasn't a runner, was never a runner. But I just decided, I'm going to do a marathon because a lot of people are doing it and they look like they're in great shape and they look like they enjoy it. And so I'm going to do it. And so I started from just being able to run 3 miles. I made my commitment to run a marathon when I hadn't even ever run a half marathon yet. What? So anyway, so I sat down, I joined a running group that was going to train people from couch to marathon together. And it was a 7-month program. You signed up and then it started a month later. So kind of like our mentorship. But you started just to do little exercises every single day. Not every single day. Actually, we had 2 rest days a week. Because you need to give your physical, like body muscles, a rest in order for them to recuperate so that they can continue to strengthen. So the day that I decided that I was going to run the marathon, did I have the ability to just strap on some shoes and go run 26 miles? There's no way. I probably wouldn't have been able to make it 7. Maybe would have been able to make it 7, but probably not. I probably would have given up around the 5 to 6 mile mark because my stamina wasn't built up. I wasn't trained up for that. Your mind is the same way, but you have to have that consistency and you have to have that support system and you have to have that tribe for accountability. So congratulations, you found Master Your Mind. Now my question for you is, where are you going to take it? Are you going to take the commitments that you've made and do something with it? Or is this just going to be another 5 days? Is this going to be some good teaching that you've gotten? A little bit of time that you've invested in yourself? Or are you going to take it farther? Because it's up to you. You don't have to be that desperate 21-year-old. And I was already in the workforce. I graduated from high school early and I did college super fast. So anyway, I've been working since most people were still, at fraternity parties. So anyway, but 21-year-old driving to work, just desperate for something more because life has to offer more than this. Something deep inside me knew that there was something bigger than that just drudge, that daily drudge. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to work, maybe go and enjoy a drink with a friend, have dinner. And then I'm going to, there had to be something more than that. And I was looking anywhere. Obviously, I've already told you I grew up in a very devout family. My family wanted me to look to the church, which I do have religious beliefs and I hold them dear. But it's about more than that. This is completely different. And regardless of what your beliefs are in that area, mindset, psychology, emotional intelligence, these all tie back in. And the more that you dive into it with more consistency, the more you'll be able to reconcile it all together. And I mean, we've got people here, our leaders are from different parts of the world, different faith sets. And you guys tell me, do all of these things melt together and help you to have a deeper understanding of everything that you already knew? All the wisdom that's already inside your beautiful heart, soul, and mind? Does this help you to reconcile it, grow it, have an increasing? I just kind of envision, a lotus blossom just opening. It's beautiful, but then it opens because there's so much more inside. And it's if we can get past the mindset blocks that are limiting what we see and what we already have in front of us, the world is so much more beautiful, brighter, meaningful. So what are you going to do with it? If you really, really want to explore it more, explore it with us in the mentorship. We have a couple of sponsorships left. We had several people take them yesterday. So congratulations to you all who are joining us. But what are you going to do with it? You need to decide. All right, we are at the end. I want you to write down on your page 33 what your 3 biggest aha moments were from today. Just anything that really touched you, anything that's stuck in your mind. Also, what are your 3 commitments to action between now and your next accountability call, which we are going to do on Monday. So normally on Mondays, we have our Master Your Mind, just Coach Kendra and I come on. It's kind of a talk show format. But on this coming Monday, we are going to have a Zoom call. And if you would like to be part of that Zoom call, then you may join us. We're going to be broadcasting it live in the Creator Circle on Facebook. And all you have to do is send us a message or post on the wall in the Gilded Life group that you would like to know the Zoom link, because we're going to be posting the Zoom link in there. So you'll be able to join us. We're going to be talking about all of this in just 3 days from now, and get your questions answered. We'll get to talk one-to-one there. So make sure that you write down those 3 commitments, because I'm going to ask you what they were if you join us on Monday. All right, it's time for our powerful Master Your Mind affirmation. Our affirmation today is, I am a powerful creator and I am ready for what comes my way. I'm a powerful creator and I'm ready for what comes my way. All right, I will be coming your way very soon in the Gilded Life group with our post-lesson Q&A. Well done, everybody. Bye.